most successful rock act in music history owes its genesis to the vision of a 20-year-old guitarist from Cheltenham called Brian Jones. In May 1962, he placed an ad in the Jazz News, inviting musicians to audition for a new R&B group that went on to become the Rolling Stones. Acting as their manager, he got them a gig at London's Marquee Club, and from there they took up a residency at the Crawdaddy Club in Richmond. By the middle of 1963, they had a record deal and rocketed to fame on the back of songs like I Wanna Be Your Man and Little Red Rooster. But it was their live performances that made the headlines. The suggestive lyrics and Mick Jagger's sexually charged gyrations sent women wild, and riots frequently broke out at gigs. Although Mick was the band's frontman, it was Brian who had always been considered the leader. Not only had he come up with the Rolling Stones name, he continued to be heavily involved in the direction of the band, alongside their official manager, Andrew Oldham. Rolling Stone magazine once wrote, "If Keith and Mick were the mind and body of the Stones, Brian was clearly the soul." However, as Mick and Keith Richards grew more confident in their own songwriting, the band moved away from its rhythm and blues roots into rock, and Brian was becoming more and more of an outsider. Photographer Jared Mankiewicz, who worked closely with the Stones from 1965 to 7, remembers a tricky shoot.
But Brian Jones was being quite difficult, sort of lurking in his collar, the collar of his big brown fur coat, hiding and burying himself in a newspaper that he'd brought with him. And I was really concerned that he was going to mess the pictures up.
By the age of 22, Brian had lost control of his personal life, having fathered 5 children by 5 different women. In 1967, he and his friend Prince Stanislas Klosowski were arrested for possessing drugs after a raid on Brian's flat. He was put on probation for 3 years and ordered to seek help. However, he continued to spiral downwards, and on the 9th of June 1969, he announced he was leaving the Stones. 3 weeks later, he was found dead at the bottom of a swimming pool at his home in Sussex, thus becoming the inaugural member of the 27 Club of popular musicians who've died at the age of 27.